Okay, so my name is Cara Loffredo, and I'm one of the co-founders and the directing organizer for Boston Women's Market. I also have a background in marketing, e-commerce, and SEO is one of those topics that I love talking about. There are so many things that are easily implementable for small businesses where you don't need any developers, you don't need any special skills, and you can really take the tools that you use tonight and implement them right away into your website. So that's something that I'm hoping you're going to do and take away from tonight are really actionable items that you will be able to do to improve your website, potentially with the goal of improving your website traffic. Just a caveat, this is scheduled for an hour. Last time we did this workshop, we did go over a little bit of maybe like an hour 15. If you have to drop off at 7:30, totally get it. It's such a beautiful day out today. We all want to enjoy the nice weather. I will be circulating a recording of this webinar, so please don't feel like you have to you know, keep on past 7:30 if you're not able to. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump right in. I do record this. It is totally optional if you want to leave your camera on, off, whatever you want to do. And I am going to be pausing for Q&A throughout the presentation. You're welcome to put any questions you have in the chat. I'll do my best to pause and then monitor those. Or I love talking to people. I love having interaction with real questions and real comments and experiences. So if you have any questions or you want to share your personal experience about SEO in your business, please feel free to unmute yourself, turn your camera on, and we can have a live discussion. So let's get started. Okay, so a little bit about myself. I have over 15 years of sales and marketing experience, probably more at this point. I started my career in small businesses and nonprofits, and it's just really where I found I excelled. And I have a passion for helping others succeed in their small business endeavors. I love marketing operations. So all the little things behind the scenes in the marketing realm that connect the dots and create this big picture about what it means to have a successful online business or marketing program for your business. I just love that. And then I do have extensive experience in launching websites, tailoring to shopping experiences and promotional campaigns for small businesses. So with that kind of experience, that's how I learned and really got dive dirty into SEO, and then just continuing education. SEO is something that is always evolving. It is always evolving right now, particularly because of all the AI that's going on, right? So we're going to be touching a little bit about that also as how you can use AI to accelerate your SEO techniques. Okay, so right off the bat, we need to start from square one. And a lot of people just want to dive right into keywords, right? They're like, okay, let's talk about keywords. How do I identify those? Where do I get them? But first, we really need to understand what SEO is before we really get to that stage of things. So, I mean, does anyone have any kind of ideas about what SEO is to them? And you're welcome to plop that in the chat, or you're welcome to unmute yourself, or share a personal experience about SEO. This would be a great time to do that. And SEO, tonight we are really focusing on Google. There are so many different SEO techniques when it comes to different types of platforms. Last time we did this, we had a lot of questions about Etsy SEO. And there are specialists out there that just like solely practice Etsy SEO. We could talk about that a little, but tonight we're really going to be talking about the main search engines and the brain, which is Google. So pretty much SEO, well, it stands for search engine optimization. And what you're trying to do is satisfy a user's intent. Intent is something that I am going to be driving home and talking a lot about tonight. Intent is the main goal. You need to think like the consumer, not like the business owner. So I want you to try to step outside of your business. And I know that's so hard because you have all this knowledge about the industry, background knowledge that the normal common consumer and shopper might not know, but you really need to step out of that box and think about yourself from a consumer standpoint. So if I am looking for a new pair of boots, what am I as a consumer going to Google and search for when I'm looking for a new pair of boots? And the thing about SEO is it's actually quite simple. You don't need to overcomplicate it. And I think a lot of people think it's this really crazy, complex kind of thing they have to do, but it's really not. It's really about fulfilling a query and a content and an intent that a consumer has. So just keeping that in mind, I'm going to hammer it home over the next hour or so, and we'll reinforce that kind of that thinking and that question about what is intent. Okay. So what are the benefits of SEO? It's free. I mean, that is one of the main things about SEO. With paid advertising, obviously, Google ads, you're paying for it. With Meta ads, you're paying for it. And it can only go as far as your budget is allowing. And a lot of small businesses, we don't have the budget to spend thousands and thousands of dollars a month to compete on a paid advertising level. Um, Organic traffic that is driven by SEO is more consistent and stable, and it can be the stable foundation for your website and your business. So it's always working. Again, with paid ads or email marketing, maybe the email campaign goes out and it really only has about 24 hours of impact within the community, within the consumers and the subscribers that you sent it to. But with SEO as your foundation, it's working around the clock. You're putting that time in now to set it up correctly. And then it's going to be working 24/7 for your business and always learning and evolving. So that's the great thing about it. Users are actively seeking what you are putting out there. So a lot of the times with these other marketing mediums, it might be a little bit of cold calling, right? You might be putting feelers out there, ads out there, event listings, whatever it is, and it could be cold. But when a user is actively looking for something you are selling, they're already warm, meaning that you already have an in with them. You're already fulfilling a need that they might have. Therefore, they're more willing to convert for you. And the way they're going to be able to find you is through this solid SEO. I mean, at this point, there are over 4 billion Google users. So endless amounts of possibilities for customers. And SEO is very important nowadays for AI generated shopping. One thing we're going to look at a little bit later is how Google is now displaying search results. And even so the last time I did this workshop was 2 years ago. And even from 2 years ago to now, the way information is being displayed on a search page is completely different. And if you are not telling Google what to show and educating Google about who you are and why you're creditable, they're not going to show you. The AI that they are always enabling now and rolling out isn't going to pick you up, and you are not going to be seen as content for their AI generated shopping. So that's something that is also very important nowadays. Okay. First, before we like really dive into implementing SEO, I wanted to just go into like how Google works. And a couple people on this call, they probably will be familiar with this because I worked with a couple of you on SEO strategy for your small business. And you probably remember me talking about how Google is like a spider. So I didn't want to put a ugly image of a spider up here. I found these spider webs to kind of illustrate it. Google, in my mind, I always picture it like a spider crawling. And the spider is crawling all the websites and the servers in the world, pretty much to simplify it, to look and collect data. So whenever you're putting something online, Google spiders are crawling that information. And they're not just crawling it once, they're crawling it all the time. And they're collecting that data, they're cataloging that data, and then they are using their algorithms to decide, hey, is that data worthwhile? Is it reputable? Is it credible? Does it fulfill intent of the searcher? And if it is, maybe I'll rank it. Maybe I'll put it up there in shopping. Maybe I'll put it up there on one of the first pages of the search results. So this is one of the reasons why it's always really important to continually work on your SEO and continually evolve your website. Your website should never be like a static catalog where you're not updating it because Google is constantly looking for that refreshed, revived information from you. Um, Algorithms is something that is a hot term. You might hear that a lot. Hold on a second, let me go back. Let's see. Algorithms are something that is estimated that Google uh, updates or tweaks about 500 to 700 times a year. So to say, you always hear like, oh, Instagram changed their algorithm this week. Like, what are they doing new? Well, no one really knows exactly what the algorithm is for Google, but there are people that completely specialize in this, and that's what they do. And you can find these people like on YouTube, and they have their own websites and things like that. But no one really knows. So it's all about implementing these best practices that we're going to do. There are a couple factors that influence the algorithms and it'll allow you to tell the algorithm, hey, I'm creditable, I'm a really good website. You should serve me to your searchers because of these reasons. So there are many factors that influence an algorithm, but these are the top three that I really want to focus on tonight. And as I said, like this is a really deep topic. We're not going to be able to get to all the information about SEO strategy here, but these are the three things I really want to drive home for you. The first one is backlinks. So backlinks in general is someone else linking to your website. And the more people that are linking to your website and their content, the more creditable you're going to look to the Google gods. So the Google gods are going to be like, oh, wow, okay, Mary Sue's website is getting linked to a lot. This must mean she's a valuable resource in the candle making community. Therefore, I am going to rank her website higher because she's a trusted source. Like she's obviously reliable. People keep going to her. So backlinks are a really important thing. Backlinks, is something that we do at Boston Women's Market. We, as Boston Women's Market, will link to you guys on our website, and Boston Women's Market would then be a backlink to you to help build your credibility. The second thing we're looking at is, again, that search intent, matching what the user intends to see on their search and in their query. So we're going to be talking a lot more about that. And then content depth. It's not about the amount of text that you have on your website. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dog right now. We put her upstairs and she's mad that she's locked upstairs. But it's not about the amount of content and words that you have on your website. It's about the quality of the content and how you are solving a user's problem. So you can have like a page of text and it really doesn't mean anything if you're not specifically targeting a problem that you're trying to solve for the user. We're going to be going a little bit about this more too. Okay. A little bit more about search intent. It's the reason why someone is searching. It's the why behind the query. And again, it shows Google that you are fulfilling a user's desire in delivering those results to them. Okay, so here's a couple of great examples about search intent. And in this case, we're going to be diving into a candle business. We have a couple candle businesses that were registered tonight. I'm not sure if they're on the call tonight, but we're going to use this as an example because this is a popular business category in Boston Women's Market and a lot of markets. So we're going to be looking at three different types of search intent tonight. The first one we're going to be looking at is informational search intent. And the information that I am searching for in this case is how to make a candle at home. So this is a query or a problem as me as the consumer, I am asking Google to solve. So me as the candle maker business owner wants to solve this problem for you, the consumer. So this is one type. So when I did Google this week about how to make a candle at home, on the left-hand side here, these are the search results that came up. And these are the top search results that came up because these are the websites or the YouTube videos that are fulfilling the need and the intent of the searcher. With informational search intent, blog posts are really popular. And it's one of the reasons why people always say, do a blog when you are trying to do your SEO. One of the questions we had in the registration today was, do I need to do a blog? I would recommend it. Like, I know it's kind of painful and I know all of a sudden 6 months goes by and you haven't done a new blog post yet, or you struggle about what to write. I totally get it. But it's going to fill the need of this informational search intent from your potential consumer, and it's going to help drive them to your website. So I would spend a little time, developing your blog, developing guides, things like that. One thing that I saw was a, a great guide for like step-by-step instructions about how to make your own candle at home. And they recommended fragrances, they recommended wax types. So not only are you going to be hitting how to make a candle at home, if someone's searching for soy wax or someone's searching for fragrance combination recommendations, maybe you can show up in this informational search intent. The next one I want to talk about is consumer research intent. So this is more about a consumer investigating. So in this example, I said best candle makers in Boston. And on the left, this is what came up. And you will see that the AI overview was the first thing that came up. And as we all know, over the past couple months, this has become king on Google search. It's one of the first things you'll see, whether you're looking on mobile or you're looking on desktop. Google doing an AI overview, and recommending what it thinks is the best intent for this research query. So we can see Boston Candle Lux, Life Bloom, which I love Life Bloom, Candlefish, haven't heard of them, but they seem great. And then you have your places on your map also where it's listing a couple different candle makers within Boston. So again, this is like all about when and where's the best pizza, what's the best sushi restaurant, where am I going to get the best bonsai tree? I don't know, I'm making that up. But it's that kind of mentality. And it's often really linked to Google business profiles. So that's another thing that you shouldn't overlook when you are researching SEO and more SEO tactics. Consumer research intent is really great when it comes to Google business profiles, because then you have more chance of showing up in the maps and the places and those types of listings too. So then the next intent is transactional intent. And I know this is the intent that a lot of us just automatically want. We automatically jump to it. Like, obviously, we want our websites to have conversions. But it's really more about all three of these tactics coupled together to create a clear intent picture that you are then delivering to Google on behalf of the consumer. And that is really what's going to drive home your search engine optimization and make you look really credible to the consumer. So when I did a search for soy-based candles, here on the left are two different types of listings that Google gave me. So this one up here, this top one, the 3 wicks glass tumbler soy candle listing, this is like I want to call it the old school way of looking at listings. This is what like it used to be. We used to want to always be on page 1 of this, and we wanted to show up looking like this. But nowadays, when you look at soy-based candles, a lot of the first listings are all sponsored ad listings. They're paid search options. So when you see the word sponsor, those are Google search ads. So if you're not running Google search ads, you're most likely never going to be like on the top half, 3/4 kind of thing of the first page of the Google. But this is a great example of a candle company that did land on the first page. And they do have an organic listing for soy candles, and it's more like the traditional listing. But the predominant way that transactional intent is now being listed is through Google Shopping. And it's really important to consider this when you are building your SEO strategy for your product pages. We're going to go a little bit more into this too. But Google is never going to show your product in something like these popular product search results if you are not telling Google exactly who you are, exactly what the product is, and also defining those niche characteristics of the product. So Google doesn't want to serve you like every soy candle known to mankind, right? Like That's not their intent. That's not meeting the intent of the searcher. But we're looking for soy. Maybe we're looking for lemon verbena. Maybe we're looking for honeysuckle. Maybe we're looking for wood burning wick. And those are all the types of keywords, which we'll get to in a little bit, that you can be incorporating in things like your product titles and your product descriptions and your meta descriptions to make sure that you have a better chance of showing up in these very prevalent Google Shopping listings now. So keep that in mind. We'll move forward with that in a little bit. Okay, we're going to pause for a second. I want to see if any questions have come in. Again, please feel free to drop any questions into the chat, or you're welcome to unmute yourself, turn your camera on, ask a question, or if you have any personal experiences from your business you want to share with anyone, this is a great time to pause and do that. While we're waiting to see if there are any questions that come up, let's see. We did have a couple questions come through in the registration. So we can look at that a little bit right now. Let's
Cara,
see. Oh, go ahead.
hi, my name is Lauren. I own a mini pie business, and I'm curious about the blog and the sort of information-based intent. Is that
Yeah,
something where it's like this is like make a separate page on your website, or it's actually like have a different site entirely that's now this blog that backlinks to the business website?
that's a great question. And can you repeat what business type you have?
So my business is Big Little Pies, and it's a mini pie bakery.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's nice to meet you. Definitely just on your current website. So this would be a blog or really whatever you want to name it. It doesn't, you'll see, people's navigations on their website often says blog. But for example, with Boston Women's Market, we call it the notebook because we wanted it to be like a notebook for a business owner that they're scratching all their ideas on, they're learning. So our blog is really disguised as the notebook. And within the notebook, we have various sections of education. So we have finance sections, we have marketing sections, we have webinars sections. So depending on what people are Googling for, they can hopefully land on Boston Women's Market Notebook. So for something like pies, like maybe it's like called something fun, like the pie archive or the oven, or I don't know. I'm just totally making this up. But it's going to live on your website and it's something that should be continuously evolving. If you can aim for once a month posting something, that would be my recommendation. I think one of the hard things and one of the worst things about blogs is you often go to someone's website. I actually did this today. I was going to someone's website, I was looking at their blog, and the last post they had was from 2022. So then the consumer starts thinking, well, are they active? Like, are they still in business? This information is like 10 years old or whatever it is. So that's one of the hardest things about keeping up a blog. But at the same time, blogs are very important for that informational SEO intent. So as you as a baker, not that I want to give away all your trade secrets, but I mean, something I've been doing recently, I've been testing out different short crust recipes from all these different blogs and all these different websites. Maybe that's like a blog post that you could do, like my favorite recipe for pie crust, like step by step, how to. So when someone is looking for short crust, they could hopefully land on your website. And then in return, they're going to be like, oh, wait, she delivers. Oh, wait, I can order from her online, or she's going to be at Boston Women's Market this weekend, something like that. And hopefully you're going to lead them down a path to a different place of your website because you drove them via that intention. Does
Gotcha.
that help?
Super helpful. And I
Okay,
like the name the
cool.
oven. That's very cute.
Does anyone else have any questions they want to throw out right now?
I do have a quick question. Hello, my
Yeah.
name is also Lauren. I have a business called Sand and Salt where I make and sell jewelry. And I came across this, I don't know if it's really an issue, but with keywords, like for example, I use gold filled and I kind of like to highlight that. Um, is it best for me to put like the keyword gold fill or like pearl or gemstone in as many places as I can, or is it better just to have it like in a specific area, like a description? I don't know if Google kind of prioritizes those things more than another.
That is a great question. That is actually something we're going to be talking about in a couple seconds. But I would say from experience, something like Pearl is a great example. I would 100% put something like pearl earrings in my description, not just earrings. um, Things like that. And then it would also live in your meta descriptions and it would also live in your product descriptions. Something that we're going to be talking about in a couple of minutes is keyword stuffing, which is a huge no-no. I don't think that's what you're going for here. And I think it's a great, you want to be strategic about where you're putting those words. We're going to get into that a little bit.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're gonna have a couple more sessions of Q&A. So, if something comes to mind, this is not your last chance to ask questions, okay? And also feel free to put them in the chat and then we can get to them as we get there. Okay. So I just want to talk about backlinks. Okay, again, we talked about this a little bit already, but it's the process of getting other websites to link to your website. So it's really people vouching for your website. And the reason why Google loves this so much because it's giving credibility to your website. Think about all the websites that are out there and all the domains out there that are just they're they're trash. Like people have owned the domain for since websites existed, but they don't do anything with it, and they're not active, they're not updating content, they're not reputable. So one thing that backlinks reinforces, hey, this is content that is still relevant, is something that I trust, and I'm going to put it on my website and link to Lauren's pie business because I know she's reputable in the community, I know she has great recipes, and I want to support her business. So the more folks that you are getting to backlink to your website, the more Google is going to view it as this trusted content, trusted site, and therefore maybe nudge you up the list of SEO and reputability in those listings. So all backlinks are also not created equal, right? So if I get the New York Times to link to me or the Boston Globe, that's way more hefty than a Reddit post or something like that, or a post on a forum or something like that. But it's not necessarily about just getting that, like, it's not about getting that one big Boston Globe link because that's just one link. It's about compiling a medley of different people talking about you that creates this bigger picture. So there are a couple ways that, you're maybe thinking like, well, how do I get backlinks? How do I get people to talk about me? And it can sort of feel like that cold calling, right? So like, my mom is a real estate agent growing up, and I like distinctly remember her getting on the phone and just calling random strangers, trying to get them to like list their houses. Oh, and that is like painful. But if you really think about it, you probably have a network of people you can already turn to. So, for example, a couple examples would be markets you're participating in, whether it's Boston Women's Market, New England, SOA, vegan food market, whoever it is. You can email them and say, hey, I am a vendor coming up on one of your markets. I see, my name is listed on the event page, but it's not linked. Could you provide a link to my website? And that is an example of a backlink. A lot of you, I'm sure, are interested in wholesale or have a wholesale customer catalog. They have all these shops, they have their own websites. And you can simply ask your wholesale customers, hey, like, could you link to me on your website so people know how to get in touch with me if they'd like to? And then you know more people than you think within your community. Maybe you've met amazing vendors at markets. Maybe you want to create a partnership between a like-minded or strategically positioned brand where you're doing something special for the summer and you're co-branding something or you're doing a special package. So you're each are backlinking to each other. And that's a really great tool and method to do it. I can't stress enough to never pay for backlinks. When you're doing some research, if you're doing any Googling after this about backlinks, you might see paid services for this. It's just like how you should never pay for followers on Instagram. Google knows, like Google knows that you've paid for them. Google knows they're trash, just like Instagram knows that the 50,000 followers you just purchased, they're all spam accounts and they're going to actually downgrade you if you do anything like that. So just don't do it. Like it's just bad practice. Any questions on backlinks in general? I'm going to take this opportunity to get a drink of water. Let me double check the chat feature. It's always kind of hard monitoring the chat and also having your slides up. Okay. All right. So, okay, let's talk about keywords. I know this is like what everyone really wants to dive into first. But again, like we didn't have all that, information in the background about intent. You're really not going to understand what to do with your keywords and how to recognize which keywords are good. And I just want to stress again too, like all of us within this webinar tonight, we're all from different business types and we have different goals. So my keywords are not going to be the same as Ashley's keywords, and they're not going to be the same as Jennifer's keywords. So you're all going to really have to do your own keyword research, but we're going to go over how to find those and what makes them valuable. Okay, don't overcomplicate the thought of a keyword. It is simply a phrase and words that people type into a search engine to get what they are looking for. I find that's like the biggest mistake when people are, trying to compile their list of keywords. They overcomplicate it and they maybe use fancy words. Maybe they use industry words that wouldn't be used from a common consumer. And again, you need to take your brain out of that business owner mindset and just look from a consumer mindset. So if I don't make vitamin C serum, but I was just Googling for new vitamin C, face serum and trying to figure out which is the best for my skin type. And I'm not going to use any scientific words. I'm not going to use anything fancy. I'm just looking for what me as a common person knows. And that is search intent. And then you're going to think about, does the does the topic drive enough traffic and have business value to make it worthwhile? So again, really hammering through what it is you want the consumer to do with that keyword. So it's not just a keyword out in space. It is something that is specific to a problem you are trying to solve for them. Okay, so some do's and don'ts. Think in phrases and topics everyday people use, not singular words. And again, think like a consumer, not a business owner. And when we say think in phrases and topics, not in singular words, I'm talking about long-tailed keywords. So this is a term that you might hear or read about if you're doing some searching about SEO optimization. And Lauren, this is kind of a great example of what you were hinting at a little bit, where you were like, well, what type of words should I be using? A great example of a long-tailed keyword is not just earrings, it's dangling terrazzo clay earrings. Because what Google really wants to do, particularly with all this AI generated shopping, it really wants to serve me as the shopper looking for earrings. I'm specifically looking for terrazzo clay earrings. I don't want gold-filled pearl earrings. So I don't want Google to serve me gold-filled pearl earrings. So the more specific with these long-tailed keywords you can be and the more direct, the more chances you are of going to be served through Google, Google Shopping, things like that. So Lauren, the example that you did, it would be something like dangling pearl or like pearl gold filled hoop earrings. That would be a nice kind of descriptor. Or if there are any other unique qualities about your earrings, you could do that. The second thing here is also related to what we mentioned before. Do not keyword stuff. It's about quality, not the quality of the content, not how many times I say dangling terrazzo clay earrings within a paragraph. So I am actually always really surprised how much you actually see this still on certain websites. I was just doing a search last week for something in the town of Andover, and I remember landing on a website and it just said, it would be a paragraph about information, and then the end it said Andover, Massachusetts, just completely out of nowhere. And then it'd be another paragraph about something, and it said Andover, Massachusetts. And then in the navigation, it would be like it said the location, or said something on in the location, and next to it said Andover, Massachusetts. I'm like, why are they do that? Well, they're stuffing. And it used to be a tactic like back in the day when websites were first kind of like, getting started, it was the easy way of getting ranked. Nowadays, Google will actually downgrade you for that kind of behavior because they know it's not quality content. They know you're just keyword stuffing. So the way you're going to use these long tail keywords are very strategic. You're going to use them in product titles. You're going to use them in product descriptions. You're not going to say it 5 times within the product description, but you're going to say it, and then maybe you're going to say it a different way. And you're going to make sure your meta content also has those. So you're going to have gold-filled pearl dangly earrings in them. Let's see. And then keywords are not just about are not just applicable with copywriting. So far we've been just talking about keywords when it comes to, product descriptions, maybe blog posts. Maybe Lauren, you want to write a blog post about the difference between gold plated and gold filled and solid gold. So when people land on the blog post about your website, they got to you because they were searching for this long tail keyword of what is gold filled versus gold plated. They land on you, and then maybe in that blog post you also have links to your favorite gold filled hoop earrings that then they click on, go to that product, and hopefully buy the product. So I think the next website, okay, one. Okay. So the other thing that keywords are really important for, which we're going to get to, I thought it was the next slide, but it's not, are things like images and alt text. So we're going to be getting into that a little bit more. Again, choosing a keyword is not about one hero keywords, it's about a collection of the keywords that you are assembling. And when you're doing keyword research, you will probably find that there are countless keywords that will come up within your research, whether you're using a keyword planner like Google Keyword Planner. They're going to give you a whole like hundreds and hundreds of keywords that you could use. That doesn't mean you're going to use all of them. You're going to go through that list and really choose the top ones, maybe the top 10 that are really prevalent and relatable to what you are trying to achieve. And you're going to create that keyword list with research. So let's dive into an example of keyword research. I'm using Simply Chicky, which maybe some of you know. They're a marketing client of mine. We've been really working on our SEO, so she's always really top of mind. And she sells adorable organic cotton baby and kids clothing. So we're going to look at some examples about how Simply Chicky could use keyword research. So the first thing that Simply Chicky is going to do is she's going to build a keyword seed list. Seed list is just it's just a fancy term for a list of keywords, really. And we're going to look at how to build that. So on the right-hand side here are some keyword phrases that I've come up with that I think relate to Simply Chicky. So we have organic baby clothing, newborn gifts, best baby gifts near me, organic cotton bibs for baby. You can go on and on with this list, but these are the top ones based on research that we've figured out. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take one of these keyword phrases, something I know about the business, and I'm like, okay, well, I think people are searching on organic baby clothing. Let me put that into Google. So in our example over here, I put in organic cotton baby gifts, and I want to see what comes up. And from here, I'm going to be able to see what results are displaying, and I can actually find out a lot of learnings based on simply Googling keywords that I think are fulfilling my need. And this is really great because it allows you to see what is coming up in Google search, What is coming up from a listing perspective? And then you can make adjustments based on these learnings about, well, why did the organic snuggle lovey come up? And what qualities about this product page are making them unique and they're coming up. So in this case, this is a sponsored paid shopping kind of thing. But on the list in Google product shopping, you can dive deeper into those kind of listings and see, okay, they showed up for organic cotton baby gifts. Let me investigate them. Let me see what else is going on. We also turn to the Google Keyword Planner. And if you've never used this before, open up a browser and Google Keyword Planner. It is part of the Google Ads platform, but you don't need to run Google Ads in order to use it. It's a free tool. And one of the things I love about it is you can just start a keyword search based on your URL. So you can simply copy and paste your website URL into this. Give us some criteria. So I think this today, I ran this for the past 90 days. And I excluded some things. So for example, I didn't want it to look at adult sweatshirts or adult shoes or anything like that. So I excluded those topics and I really narrowed down where I wanted it to research my keywords. So these are some of the top keywords that showed up for my website that Google is identifying. Baby clothes, baby shower gifts, newborn clothes. These are all really hot topics. You can see in this column, you have your average monthly searches and then the 3-month change. So that means in the past 3 months, has this keyword got more popular or has it diminished in popularity? And then you have competition. So I expect, and particularly in a category like this, the competition to always be high. And this is more related to advertising, but it definitely can be related to organic SEO and keyword searches. So something else that I really want to do is if I see a keyword here and it says its average monthly searches are like 500,000 to a million, maybe that's not actually the keyword I want to focus on because you can think of it as like, say I use a hashtag on Instagram and I use the hashtag of baby. Imagine how many people around the world at this exact moment are also hashtagging their photo they're posting or reel with baby. So when people are looking at that hashtag, am I really going to show up? No, I'm really not going to show up. So maybe I'm really going to be strategic and look at these keywords that might have a lower average monthly searches, but that means I have a better chance of being shown more prevalently. So, I don't, and then this is a great example, cheap baby clothing. I definitely, as a high class brand for babies, would never want to use this keyword of cheap baby clothing. So while it gives you ideas, you can also immediately identify this doesn't make sense for me, and that's really good too. So yeah, think about it in that perspective. Maybe you want to choose the keywords that have great searches, but they're not like in the hundreds of thousands where you're maybe not going to be as competitive. A really funny thing that I didn't show in here, I should have showed in here was, it was just Easter recently. So when Easter came up in the keywords, Easter outfits for babies, it was like the month change was like plus 300 something. And like that makes sense because this past month, everyone was searching for cute Easter outfits for their kids. So that would be an indicator to me of like, this is hot, this is timely. Think about seasonality, think about holidays. Mother's Day is coming up. People are looking for Mother's Day gifts. I'm sure that keywords revolving around Mother's Day right now are changing and plussing. So I would go into my website right now and add some keywords and copy about Mother's Day gifting. And running these reports, maybe on a monthly basis, is really insightful that way. And it might give you new ideas about something that's happening that you would never really identify on your own. Okay, the other way that you can find keywords, and I'm sure you've all seen this at the bottom of your search pages, are these related search results in gray. Google is literally telling you these are the other ways that people are searching for this topic. So these are other keywords you can automatically pull into your list, and Google is telling you this is factual information that actual consumers are searching on. So organic baby clothes, organic baby gift baskets, organic baby gift ideas. And again, these are all keywords and long tail phrases that you can use throughout your content, whether it's a blog, whether it's a collection page, anything like that. And Google Trends is something that a lot of people don't know about. It's interesting. I don't like use it all the time, but I think it's definitely a cool tool to know about. Again, just search for Google Trends. It'll pop up for you. It's free to use, and it'll link right to your website, and then it'll tell you about what people are interested in based on their locations and the topics. So if you wanted to, you can like drill into Massachusetts or California, or say you're located in Maine and you're really interested to know what the trending search is in Maine specifically, you can dig into the state of Maine and look up what the related topics are and what the related queries are. You can also search by the top. So for example, the top queries of topics are clothing, infant clothing, organic clothing, cotton fiber, while you also can search by rising. So maybe they're not the top queries that are, happening in the state of Maine, but they are on the rise. It's like the, top 100 billboards chart type of thing. I don't know if that still exists. But here are some things that are on the rise, like organic diapers. Maybe Simply Chicky could do a blog post about organic diapers. Little Sleepies, that's another kids brand. I think it's bamboo, not cotton. But they're on the rise. So maybe you have some learnings there from these other brands. And the last one, I think this is the last one I have about how to research keywords. Go to your analytics. So I know for a lot of people, Google Analytics can feel really intimidating. I get it. And particularly since they've released, I think about 2 years ago now, their G4 kind of format. It could be a little bit hard sometimes to find information you're looking for. But one thing I love doing is going to look at where people are landing. So the acquisitions and then landing page. I want to see how people are landing on my website and what page they're going to the most, because that could be an indicator to me about what is most popular to people. And then maybe I'm going to recatalog my website. Maybe I'm going to make sure that certain products are on my homepage. So right now, short sleeve rompers are on the rise. Maybe, and that makes sense because it's getting warmer. So maybe I want to change my uh, products that are being shown on my homepage to my short sleeve collection rather than my long sleeve collection. So the pages that people are landing on and searching for the most can be really insightful to what they're interested in. Here's another great one. So a popular blog post. I'm actually surprised that's this far down on the list because it's usually up more. How much should you spend on a baby shower gift in 2024? So this is a popular blog post that people are Googling about baby shower gifts, price. So this is popular. What other blog posts can I do that's kind of in the related kind of realm that also drives traffic to my website? Okay, and then I just wanted to give a example of a paid search or paid SEO tool that I really like. Um, I'm totally going to sound like a saleswoman here. I swear I'm not. There's so many SEO tools out there that when you Google SEO research, or a popular one is doing an SEO audit or an SEO scan of your website. And a lot of them will do a preliminary one for you for free, but they really leave out a lot of the important information. If you did want to sign up for one of these, and maybe you just need it for a month, this one, which is I cropped out the name, but it was Site Guru, um, is one that I really like. A lot of these SEO tools are very overwhelming. It's like they have so many tools and so many different ways and options. It's not very user friendly, and it could just be unnecessary for a small business owner. I found this Site Guru one to be really easy, really common sense to use. They have like a 2 week free trial, so you could probably like do the research you wanted to do for your website within that 2 week span of time and then not actually get a membership. But if you did want to look into something like this, that's one that I would recommend. And then one website that was recommended by a webinar participant in a webinar we did 2 weeks ago. She was saying that she really was intimidated by Google Analytics, and I know a lot of people are. And see, she uses Plausible. I don't have a lot of experience with Plausible, but that is one that I've heard of, and that could be a good alternative to Google Analytics. But again, that would cost a subscription fee versus Google Analytics is just free. Okay, so to sum it up about keywords, you can create a list of thousands of keyword, but it doesn't mean you should use all of them. You really want to find the keywords that have intent and they have search demand. So when you see this abbreviation SERP, it means search demand and traffic potential. So you really want to identify which ones are the ones that are going to drive my message home, solve the problem from consumer, and fulfill search intent. Okay, I just like talked your ear off right there. We're gonna pause, see if you want to ask any questions. If anyone wants to share your strategy or any like anything that you've implemented on your website, please feel free to unmute yourself or put those in the chat, and we'll just see if anyone has any questions or thoughts to share.
So I don't know if this is super SEO specific, but it's something that I've seen recently, and I feel like it might be related to the Google AI shopping recommendation. But Shopify now, I've seen for a lot of products, it gives you so many fields you can fill out about like the material, the color, like who it's targeted to. And I saw that maybe like a month or two ago for the first time, and I'm like, what is this? So I don't know if you've heard about that, if it's worth really going through and filling that out.
Yes, that is so great. So Google Shopping is like its whole nother class to itself, but you're absolutely right. So when you are working on your Shopify, you will see those new fields. And I would fill them out specifically if you intend to use Google Shopping and hook your Shopify up to Google Shopping directly. So there's a free app for Shopify for Google Shopping, and there's a lot of third-party ones that claim to make it easier too. It's dealer's choice, really, which ones you use. And they will make sure that when you put a product up on your website in Google Shopping or Shopify is automatically being fed as a feed, like a live product feed into Google Shopping. So you're not doing any of the manual work. It knows when a product is out of stock. It knows when you've launched a new product. It knows what category it belongs in. So the more information that you're filling out about that product, the better, because then Google knows how to serve it to the intent of the shopper.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure, but when you said Google Shop, I'm like, that sounds kind of familiar. So
Yeah.
that is really good to know.
Yeah. That's a very great point. And so many of these different e-commerce platforms have different ways of doing it. So it's really hard to say like generally how people should be doing it. But specifically for Shopify, they do make it easier than like if you have like a website on Squarespace. Um, they're just built that way, they're built strategically for transactions. So they're trying to make it really easy. Any other questions from folks or comments?
Um, I did my own website, and then when I keep getting messages from Google Console that it's a 404 something where it's not indexed. So what can I do? I mean, I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah, so unfortunately that's something that I can't answer because I don't know what platform you're on, how you're set up in the
Oh,
background.
it's in Shopify.
It's in Shopify. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to answer something like that off the top of my head. I would
Okay.
really have to dig into it. If you'd like to email me, maybe later tonight or tomorrow, I'd be happy to, look at something for you. But yeah, unfortunately, it's really hard to diagnose specific problems like that in something
Does
like
it matter?
It
That,
does matter. Yeah, it does matter because when people, and I actually think I have this in a later slide, when people are looking for you and they land on a 404 error page, what are they going to do? They're just going to leave your site.
but
They're going to think,
when I look at it for myself, I don't land on a 404 page.
yeah, it's something about your URLs or your paths that aren't doing the right thing.
Okay,
Yeah. But please feel free to email me and I'm happy to look.
okay.
Okay. All right, let's keep going. What time is it? Okay, so we're almost at 7:30. And again, if anyone has to drop off, I totally get it. We do have a little bit more content to go through. Okay, so here is what I want you to do ASAP for SEO. So we're going to start with on-page SEO. So I want you to identify 2 to 3 intentions of your website. Okay. In this example, I don't think Christina is on here. Christina from Christina's Teas registered, but it looks like she's not here. I use tea kind of as an example for her, and we have intent. So one of the intentions I thought of was how to brew loose leaf tea. And I, as a tea website, want to make sure that people know how to brew loose leaf tea. And if someone is Googling something like this, that they land on me. So I did on the left a Google search for how to brew loose leaf tea, and it's fulfilling an intention or a need. So these are some of the top searches that came up. And you can see here, I can create my seed list for targeting people that are searching for how to brew loose leaf tea, because here are some of the keywords that people are also Googling on. So I can start creating my seed based off this simple search of how to brew loose leaf tea. And then I'm going to create content based off my seed list and that one intent. So you can see here from Steve Smith Tea Maker, they have a blog post that they actually designed as a guide. So they brand it as a guide to brewing loose leaf and full leaf black tea satchels. And that's the website that I landed on. And it's a great little how-to. Like literally, I honestly don't know how to brew loose leaf tea. The couple times that I've done it, I've way overdone it and it was horrible. So this is very useful for me. So what I want to do is I want to make sure my copy is updated. I'm writing blog posts about this and I'm using meta descriptions and tags to make sure that someone is landing on this content about how to brew loose leaf tea. And I'm also naming my images appropriately, which is something we're going to get to too. So whenever I'm identifying an intent, I'm not actually going to be doing the same actions for that intent. Every intent is unique, and I want you to identify 2 to 3 unique intentions for specifically for your business, and then implement on-page SEO strategy for that. So that's one example of how to do that. I want you to optimize your content. Now I understand like this is time consuming. And we are as small business owners, we do everything. We are accountants, we are marketers, we are salespeople. So a lot of people are like, oh my God, when am I going to get time to do this? I want you to identify like your top 10 products and I want you to spend some time on them. And I want you to make the content unique for each page and each product page. So while you might have 10 top, there are 10 earrings that are top sellers, I want you to make the product pages and the descriptions and the meta descriptions unique for every single one of them. When you are copying and pasting the same content over and over and over within your product pages, because you're like, I don't have time to sit here and write a completely unique product page description. It's pretty much the same product. So can I just use the same information? No, you can't, because Google knows that. They know that you're just copying and pasting information, and they don't know then what makes this product unique and why should I serve it to someone? I really have to take the time to really identify what those unique factors are for that product. So maybe it's the material the product's made in. Maybe it's, maybe it's made of satin versus silk, or maybe has leather, or maybe it's vegan friendly, something like that. Really make sure you're identifying those unique selling propositions and putting them into your product page and making them unique. I also want you to not be fancy. Don't use industry jargon. Just speak to a customer like they had no idea, and talk to them in a sixth grade reading level. Like that is kind of just like the status quo about how you should be writing. Keep it digestible. I know I have landed on so many websites where like there's just text upon text, and I don't know really what the value propositions are of that text. Keep it short, keep it direct, and drive home your unique selling propositions about what you're talking about. Use H1, H2, H3, and P tags in your text. So I know this is something that a lot of people without kind of like website experience, they overlook and they think like, oh, well, H1, I know that makes the big heading and that makes my title of my page bigger. And then I know H3 is about the size I like for a subheading and it's bold. And then paragraph is just body text. Well, yes, these H1, H2, H3 tags are formatting, but they are also telling Google what the most important information is on your page. So anything that is using H1 formatting, you are telling Google, this is the most important information on my web page. This is what I really want you to crawl and catalog and pay the most attention to. And then the hierarchy goes down from there. So what I want you to do is go through those blog posts, go through your homepage, go through your about page, and really making sure you have at least one H1 on every page and one H2 on every page. And make sure that the words or the phrases that you're making H1, H2 are meaningful and they are helping you fulfill that intent. Do not leave meta descriptions blank. It's amazing, like I'm guilty of this. You think you've filled out a product page and its completeness, but then you go back and you're editing a product and you're like, oh my God, I don't have a meta description. Or, oh, geez, this meta description is actually for I don't know, the soy lemon verbena candle, but this product page is for my pumpkin spice candle. It just happens all the time. So I would say look at those top 10, 15 products that you're going to identify and really make sure the product or meta descriptions are not blank and that they're unique and for every product page. You want to make them about 160 characters. A lot of website builders allow you to do more than that, but 160 is kind of like the rule of thumb because after that, your meta description will get cut off and people can't see it anyway. So make sure in those first like 2 lines of text, that's really where the important grabbing information is. And you're also using some of those long tail keywords within that meta description for every product and every page. And then fix broken links and redirects. So Susan, like this is kind of what I was hitting at. If people are landing on they're doing a search and they land on your website and they get that 404 page or a non-available page. I actually found one today on Boston Women's Market site. And you're like, why is this broken? People are just going to leave. They're going to bounce. And we'll talk about bounce rate in a bit. And you are downgraded when that happens. So you look less reputable. You look like you don't know, you're not serving the right content to a person. So why is Google going to rank you any higher in its algorithms? It's not. There are actually services out there that are free where you can just do a simple search for find my broken links, and then you could put your website URL in there and it'll highlight, like it'll give you a list of any broken links it finds. Okay, so the other thing that I feel like is always so overlooked and it's so hard. Um, does this over here mean anything to you? Colorful /2/D640158. It doesn't mean anything to me, and it shouldn't mean anything to you, and therefore it's not going to mean anything to Google, right? So if your images are named something abstract like this, and I know like I am so guilty of it too. We're so busy. We're like, the last thing that I want to do is right click on every single image I have and rename it and make sure that they're all keyword optimized, but it really is a best practice and it's a habit that you should get into. And it's really hard because you're probably thinking like, oh man, that means I have to go back to every image on my website and rename the file. I mean, yeah, you probably should because it's going to only help your keyword SEO. So here's an example how to fix this image name. So instead of the image file name being colorful-2, we can change it to best friends pajama company underscore banana jammas underscore dog. So this is my company name, Best Friends Pajama Company, which I think should be a real company because it sounds real fun. And then what's on the pajamas, what type they are, and is it for a dog? Is it for a cat? Is it for a bird? Who knows? You want to tell Google what exactly is in this image. Therefore, when someone is searching, this image might come up. I know when I'm searching for things, I use image search a lot and I click on the image that's most intriguing to me. If Google doesn't know what your image is, then how is it going to serve someone like me that's looking for dog pajamas? It's not going to know. But if I change my file name and make it consistent and describe what it is, we have a much better chance of showing up in Google. And do not forget your alt text. So on Shopify, it's in one place. On Squarespace, it's another place. It's hard to, pinpoint exactly where they are for all these different platforms right now. But this is a general look and feel of an alt text box. And you want to have put a description of what your image is into this box. So in this case, it's dog wearing yellow and blue pajamas, banana jammas. So not only is this very good for SEO, and you're telling again the Google gods exactly what this image is, it's also helping you be ADA compliant. It's the right thing to do. It's for people that have disabilities or might use special programming for disabilities. And it allows the programming to tell the user what is in the image by describing it. I know it's time consuming. In this day and age, I know I've talked about this a little bit in past webinars too. It's really important to try to make your website as ADA compliant as possible. A lot of legal troubles can happen for businesses because of ADA compliance. So if you want any more information about that, there are quite a few services and plugins nowadays that will help make your website ADA compliant instantly. I can provide a couple recommendations. It's just a best practice, but make sure you're not, leaving those alt text blank. At least put a little information in it. I know it's painful, but it's something you should do. And then another thing when it comes to images, fix your image size. So one of the most common things I see is someone gets beautiful product photography of their product or of their website, and they just upload that original massive image file that they got from the photographer to their website. And this is just like a big no-no. You have to take it into a program like Canva, which is free, and resize it and make it smaller. Because when you're uploading all of these huge images to your website, it's going to decrease your user experience. It's going to slow down your loading times, and then it's going to create a poor user experience. And then Google is going to rank you lower. So Google not only is crawling your website all the time, but is also actually seeing how fast is it? How is it performing? Like what is working, what is not? And huge image sizes are a bad thing. After this, I'm going to be circulating some links about recommendations, and one of which is recommended image sizes for different types of platforms. So you'll be able to click on that link and go through and look at some image recommendations. So if you have any of those massive images, maybe on your home page, things like that, maybe just take some time and resize them. And then this is one that luckily is phasing out, but we still see it. No text as an image. So Google cannot read this text. And you can see here that there are very valuable product propositions and product value points in this image. But because Google can't read that, it's heirloom quality and it's non-toxic, eco-friendly, and it snaps closed for easy change, it means all that content means nothing to Google. So these bullet points would be much better used as text in a product description. that you can nicely bullet point and is easily digestible for the consumer. So just don't do text in an image. I know there's some cases where you can, like certain design elements, maybe you just can't implement on a home page to make it look pretty using text. And you want to make like a nice banner homepage slider kind of thing, and you put some text in an image. That kind of stuff is okay. But really don't do it when it comes to product pages and things like that. So I just want to drive home this point of user experience. And when you see this UX, this means user experience, and we've been touching on it a little bit. So user experience and user interactions with your website directly impacts your ranking and your SEO ranking on Google. So some of the things that affect UX and your poor ranking would be these. So high bounce rate. So bounce rate is when someone lands on your website and they immediately bounce. They don't interact with you. They don't click on anything. They don't even really scroll. They just leave the website. The higher your bounce rate is, the more Google is going to say, everyone is leaving this website without interacting with it. Therefore, maybe this isn't the content that I should be serving. It's not meeting an intent. Therefore, maybe I should stop serving it. Low page interaction, meaning that no one's really clicking on that page they landed on. Maybe there's a button there that they're not clicking on, that sort of thing. And they're just not interacting. Maybe they're not scrolling. Low time on a site. Again, they're leaving the website quickly after landing on it. And then low click-through rate, meaning they're not going beyond what they have landed on. So they're not going a step further and learning more about you, or they're not going to the product page to learn more. And they're just leaving early, signaling to the Google gods that maybe this information isn't actually very relevant. So those are all types of things that you want to keep in mind. And you really want to make sure that the content that you're delivering on your website is serving those intentions that you've established and laid out for your consumer. And then mobile first. So this seems like a no-brainer, but and luckily nowadays it can be when you have Squarespace, you have Shopify or something like that. They're really building their websites and their website platform to be mobile first. I think it was in 2019 that Google defaulted to indexing and ranking mobile sites first. So whatever your mobile site is doing is the first thing that they are going to take into account over your desktop. So while we're all, a lot of us work on our desktops throughout the day and we think maybe that is king, it is not. It's your mobile device. So you always want to make sure that your website is mobile friendly, appearing mobile friendly. Again, this is pretty easy nowadays with these website builders. They've really focused on that over the past like 2 and 3 years. So it shouldn't be too hard to make sure your website is ready to go on mobile. Okay, I want to pause for a Q&A here. If anyone has any questions before we get into AI for SEO. I wanted to pinpoint a couple ways that you can use AI these days to help with your SEO and just make your life a lot easier. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat or unmute yourself and we will take a couple questions. And thanks for hanging in there with me, guys. I know this is going long. It's just such a heavy topic, Why is my hand raised? How do I lower my hand? Lower hand. Okay. No. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so over the past year, y'all know that AI is everywhere. Everyone is implementing it, and it's a great tool for small business owners. It really makes our lives a lot easier in a lot of different ways. And one way you can use AI is to help your SEO. So here are some examples about how you can do that. You can have your meta descriptions and your titles of your product SEO optimized. So maybe something you could do is take one of your existing product descriptions or meta descriptions, open up an AI platform like ChatGPT or like Phrase, and put it in there and say, hey, could you check this for SEO optimization? How would you change it for, to help optimize it um, for my soy-based candle company? And then it can give recommendations about what it can do, how you can improve your listings, and make your life a lot easier and kind of like streamline that process. Headings and subtitles, the same thing. And you want to link these headings and subtitles to your H1, your H2, and your H3. So you're telling Google, hey, these are compelling headlines. They are specifically reaching that intent. And I'm going to signify to you using my H1, H2 tags that they are fulfilling a need. And then use it to draft or refresh a blog post. I put the caveat of like, don't just copy and paste whatever it gives you, because I have definitely seen a lot of mistakes. Make sure you're personalizing it to your voice and to your brand. But man, it really does save a lot of time. And I even use it for things like, hey, can you proofread this? But then you can also say, if you have an existing blog post, you can copy and paste it into one of these AI generators and say, hey, could you put in some SEO keywords for my soy candle company and see how it does and what it does. You definitely don't want to oversaturate it, but it gives you some good recommendations and places to start. So here are some examples of some AI prompts. And I did it for a crochet business. So these are actually prompts that I asked, hey, give me some ways that I can, improve SEO for my crochet business. So one prompt is provide 10 long tail keywords related to crochet gifts for babies. Suggest keyword ideas for crocheted home decor products. SEO friendly blog posts of 5 crochet patterns. Yep, perfect for beginners. So it's identifying for me things that maybe I didn't think of, or maybe just seem commonplace to you, but are not commonplace to other people. And there's some like great blog posts already right in these prompts that it's already given me, like 5 crochet patterns for beginners. That is a perfect blog for a crochet company. So definitely take some time and have it use some prompts or create some prompts for you. Okay, and then I just really want to drive it home that it's not just one of these things that is going to improve your SEO and your search results. It's really all of these things that's going to create that higher ranking. And it's going to take some time. This is not something that, say I did all this work and I really like sat down and hammered out all of this stuff that I've, asked you to do within the week. And then all of a sudden your search results are just going to go bonkers within that week. It doesn't work that way, because think about all the other websites that have been doing this for years and years, and they have all those clicks and they have all that data behind them already. You have to build up trust and credibility within the Google search algorithms. And that takes time. That could take months, a year. And you're going to constantly always reevaluate it with all the new content that you have, and always refresh the old content, because trends come and go. Something that might not be relevant or was relevant, last year is not relevant today. And you have to stay on that top of that kind of thing. But that work is always going to help the algorithm learn you and serve the content that they think is valuable to your consumer. All right, I think we're at the last Q&A. So this is the time. Let me just double check. Yes, we are at the last Q&A. Totally open for questions or shared experiences from you guys. I know I've totally talked your heads off, but I would love to hear anything from anyone. So please feel free to unmute yourself, open your camera up, whatever you feel comfortable in doing. My contact information, okay, there we go. This is my contact information. Most of you already have my email address, hello@bostonwomen'smarket.com. I'm always the one sending out emails to y'all from that email address. If you have any questions that you'd like to follow up on specifically for your business, I am way happy to, do a little diving, maybe make some recommendations. So please feel free to reach out to me. I'm also going to be sending out a recording of this so you're able to refer to any of the information. And then again, I'm going to be sending you a list of some links that I feel like would be really valuable for you guys to dig into. So let's see if we have any questions. Everyone's pretty quiet tonight. I know we've gone way over time, but I really appreciate everyone being here. Okay, well, with that, I think we will. Oh, we have someone.
I have too many questions.
Well, let's start with one, and we'll take it from there.
Well, if you don't want to repeat the same things over and again, and you put it in the product description, and you again put it in the meta description, is that too many places?
No, that example is you are using repeat content. You really are. So the product description is what's being showcased on your main product page. The meta description is actually more for searches. So when you search something, and maybe I can find the page. When you Google search something and a preview shows up. Let me see. Oh, there we go. A preview of text shows up. So under this Twillings one, it says to use a French press to brew loose tea, add your desired tea leaves. This text is actually coming from their meta description. So this little preview right here can be customized to show what you want to show the Googler.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is going to be repetitive information, but it's not going to be nearly as long as the product information because your product information probably is a little bit more lengthy. Maybe you're putting details about it. You're not going to put all those details. You're just going to identify what is the driving home selling point of this product. What is it making it unique and valuable? That is going to be your meta description.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a good question.
I don't know about how many other questions I'll email you when I get work.
Well, let's take one more. Let's take one more. And if anyone has to drop off, I totally understand.
Well, I was on WordPress for a while, and actually I found it much easier than Shopify. But and there I guess, what is the name? I can't remember the name. Some place where you get I always got Medium in my I think it is the metadata section. I mean, I guess I'm confused about there's the title of the thing, then there's the description of the thing, and then then you're in your alt text and you're saying it again, and then you describe your picture and it's in there again.
Yep.
And that's just, so how is that not too many times?
Because these are all different elements that make up your product listing. So it's not necessarily like I'm keyword stuffing, because keyword stuffing would be like that example I gave. Well, like in my text, I'm saying Andover, Massachusetts 20 times when it's completely unnecessary. But I need to tell Google and I need to tell Shopify what it is within these elements. So there are different components, and often it is going to be repetitive within those kind of elements. But within that, it makes up a whole picture of functionality.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I do markets and I sell online, and I do everything's one of a kind. So that's a problem for me too, because then I have to say everything a bunch of times. So I really keep my website kind of limited it and tell people there's more on my Instagram because, and then if you're interested. So is that sensible?
That goes back to more marketing strategy, which we can't get into tonight. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of going down a different path.
Okay. Well, thank you.
No, thank you. All right, guys, we should probably wrap it up I am so grateful for you guys for being here tonight, and I hope to see you guys at some markets sometime soon. I'm excited for kicking off the summer season in May. So with that, I'll say good night, and thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate everyone's time.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.